Think about this. Have you ever seen a cat or dog puff up when they're scared? Their fur stands up and they try to look bigger to avoid danger. Humans do something similar, but in our own way. Instead of puffing up, we use things like money, social media, or religion to seem strong. You've probably noticed how some people show off their anger or confidence on Instagram. It's their way of saying, I am not weak. But here's the thing. These things we use to look strong can actually make us weaker. Real strength comes from facing our weaknesses and learning how to overcome them. In this video, I'm going to share 5 signs that will help you recognize your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. So, stick around because this could really change things for you. Point number 1, these days, social media is full of influencers telling you it's okay to embrace your weaknesses. They often say things like, it's okay to be weak, it's okay to be overweight, it's okay to be lazy. They're speaking to people who are already struggling with these issues and who aren't happy about it. But instead of encouraging them to change, these influencers tell them to just accept their weaknesses. For example, if someone is very overweight and another person says, you should do something about it or it'll hurt your health, ideally, that person should feel motivated to change. They should think, yes, my health is suffering and I need to do something about it. If they can think this way, they'll probably lose the weight. But if they listen to an influencer who tells them to accept their weakness, they might say, I love myself as I am. I don't care what anyone else says. I'm happy this way. This is what we call toxic positivity. Think about it. What is that person really doing? They're ignoring whether the advice they're getting is true or not. Toxic positivity makes people say, no one can tell me what to do, even if the advice they're given is meant to help them. Now, don't get me wrong. You should ignore people who try to put you down for things you can't control, like your skin color or height. But if you ignore the truth about your condition, if you ignore the pain inside just to avoid facing reality and hard work, you're actually making yourself weaker. If you can see that something's not okay but still say, I love myself, then you're not really loving yourself. You're loving your weakness and holding on to it because it's comfortable. Your current idea of self-love might be based on your weakness, but true self-love will push you to become stronger. Remember, the points I'm making here apply to everyone. Point number 2. Earlier in the video, I talked about how weak people often cling to external things to seem strong. Now, let's dive deeper into that idea. Have you ever noticed people who always try to dominate every situation? We usually call them show-offs. They might flash their car, house, phone, bike, or muscles to prove they're better than others. On the surface, they might seem powerful, but the truth is, they're often the opposite. When someone relies on external things to prove their worth, it's a sign that they're weak inside. Want to see this weakness clearly? Just introduce someone who has even better stuff than they do. It's like when a deer runs from a lion, but then the lion runs when an elephant shows up. If you're acting like an animal, you might scare off a smaller one. But when something bigger comes along, you'll be the one who's scared. But if you're truly strong, you won't follow these animal instincts. You won't scare anyone, and no one will scare you. That's the mark of a strong person. Someone who isn't afraid of anyone and doesn't make others afraid. So, how do you become that person? You'll get there by finding your true strength, not in things around you, but within yourself. It's simple. If you think something in this world is greater than you, you'll feel the need to chase it, to become as big as it is. But there's no guarantee you'll ever succeed in that. When that happens, you'll try to appear big and powerful by showing off to those who seem smaller. But here's the problem. You won't actually become great, and you'll still end up bowing down to those who are truly bigger than you. But a truly powerful person knows that nothing in this world is truly greater or smaller. What's really great lies within you, your highest potential, your soul, your truth. The person who bows to this truth won't bow to anything or anyone else in this world. The point is simple. If you consider anything in this world greater than yourself, you'll bow down to it. And that's where you'll place your energy. But real strength doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within, from your soul, from your truth. You unlock this strength when you realize that no matter how much you chase external power, there will always be someone stronger. Or even if you get everything you want, your desires will just keep growing. When you understand this, you stop looking outside and start looking within. Then you bow only to the truth because you know that chasing after the world will get you nowhere. But if you're too impressed by appearances or too focused on what others have, that's a sign you're still weak. Point number 3, these days, social media is filled with drama. Someone insults another person, and the next thing you know, they're at each other's doorsteps, ready to fight. They do everything they can to show they're powerful and superior, but in the end, they're just wasting their time. To their audience, they might look strong, but there's a big weakness hidden beneath that tough exterior, a weakness that makes them react without thinking. Imagine a relative says something nasty about you that really hurts. If their words get to you, it means you've given others control over how you see yourself. Now, whenever someone praises you, you'll feel good, but when they insult you, you'll feel terrible. This reveals two weaknesses. First, you've let society define your identity, and second, because you don't truly know who you are, you depend on others to feel good about yourself. Think about how weak it is for someone to serve another, get scolded for making a mistake, and then work even harder just to earn some praise. A truly strong person doesn't react when someone insults them because they can see through the lies. They see the lies because they know the truth. Like I mentioned earlier, someone who's grounded in truth doesn't bow to anyone. So, when someone tries to hurt you with their words, it doesn't affect you because you know yourself better than they do. If someone criticizes your appearance or actions, it doesn't bother you because you understand who you are and why you do what you do. Once you reach this level of self-awareness, no one can hurt you because you can see through their intentions. You know whether they're telling the truth or just trying to bring you down. When you live by your own truth, not by what society or others think, you don't react to what people say. You respond thoughtfully. The key lesson here is to live according to your truth and integrity. If you know you're in the right, let people talk. It shouldn't affect you. But if someone tries to dominate, control, or attack your core, then you need to respond. Just like in MMA or boxing, where you learn not to fight recklessly, but to defend yourself when necessary. You're not training to pick fights, but to ensure no one can overpower or enslave you. In movies, we often see heroes or villains reacting violently at the slightest provocation. But these are petty actions. Don't try to copy them. Instead, be responsive, not reactive. Save your strength and energy for the truth and for doing the right thing. Petty people are highly reactive. They might get angry over the smallest things, and you never know what will set them off. So don't let yourself become petty, and don't surround yourself with petty people, because being overly reactive is a sign of weakness. Point number 4. Friends, having a girl in your life is not a bad thing. And it's also fine if you don't have one. But if you're the type of guy who sits around dreaming that having a girl will solve all your problems, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. If a girl does come into your life with this mindset, you'll cling to her so much that it'll make both of you miserable. This is a sign of weakness. A guy with this mindset will be unhappy whether he's with a girl or not, because he's expecting something from her that she can't give. Sure, he might get some happiness or comfort from being with her, but his mindset won't even let him ask for what he really needs. If you think that just having a physical relationship with someone will make everything better, remember this. You'll always end up feeling empty. But when you connect with someone on a deeper level, when you build a relationship based on understanding and shared values, that's when you'll truly feel fulfilled. Relationships based only on physical attraction lead to emptiness, while those built on mutual respect and understanding lead to awareness and growth. Often, people bring someone into their life like a drug to temporarily numb their inner pain, but that pain doesn't actually go away. A strong person understands that no relationship will erase their inner struggles. That only happens when they become self-aware, when they truly know and work on themselves. If someone helps you grow and understand yourself better, that's a good relationship. To figure out if your relationship is healthy or just a temporary fix, ask yourself how much you cling to the other person. If you can't stand to be apart from them, you've likely turned them into a crutch, and crutches won't last forever. Eventually, you'll have to face reality. A strong person knows where to draw the line and how much space to give someone in their life, which is why their relationships tend to be more balanced and fulfilling than those of someone who's obsessed or overly dependent. Point number 5. When someone focuses on becoming strong, they mature because they understand that to live freely in this world, you need strength. Without it, a weak person becomes a slave to life's challenges. Illnesses, setbacks, and hardships will prevent them from living on their own terms. That's why anyone who works on building their strength attracts more of it into their life, and they also uplift the weaker people around them. On the other hand, a weak person is stuck thinking, how can I attract people? How can I get girls to notice me? These people are still immature, or better yet, they're petty. They're not truly strong, they just pretend to be.